Hey everybody, this is lesson 6.3, domain and range. We're going to first start off by talking about some definitions. So the domain is all of the inputs or my x values. And if you remember, what is the range? Well, those are my outputs or the y values. So when we write out our domain and range in interval notation, we're going to have our brace, and then we're going to do the smallest x value is less than x, which is less than the largest x value. Same with our outputs. We're going to have the smallest y value is less than y, which is less than the largest y value. Okay, let's give this a try. So we're going to have these graphs, and we're going to have to come up with the domain and range from the graphs. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to write the domain and range, or list all of the values that I could have for x and all the values I could have for y. So we always start with the smallest. So when I'm looking at the x-axis, remember that's my horizontal axis, what's the smallest value that my graph intersects? So right here, I've got a point, and my graph stops there. So the x value at that point is 1. So the smallest x value is 1. And 1 is less than or equal to x. And now we need to find the largest x value. So some of you might be tempted to tell me the largest x value is 5, because that's where my arrow stops. But we know that that arrow means that my line goes on forever. So as my line continues to go on forever, so does my x values. So we're going to have is less than infinity. And we don't have an or equal to because we're talking about infinity. Now let's talk about the range. The range are the y values. So what's the smallest y value? Again, I've got a point here, and the value there at y is -2. So my smallest y value is -2, and -2 is less than or equal to y, which is less than, what's the largest as I travel up my y-axis? Again, this is going to go on forever, so it would be infinity. Let's try another one. My domain, the smallest x value here, my line goes on forever in this direction, so the smallest x value is going to be -infinity, because it goes on forever. So -infinity is less than x, which is less than, what's the largest x value? I've got a point here, so the largest x value is 6. While my range, the smallest y value, is -1. While the largest y value is infinity. One more. My domain here, the smallest x value is -9. And here I'm going to just have a less than sign. This point here is an open circle. That's what we call a hole in our graph. So we have a less than x, and the largest x value is 6. But my smallest y value is -2. While my largest y value is 5, and it's not an or equal to because it's that open circle there. That's how we find the domain and range from a graph.